For the longest time, buying a laptop has been about compromising. You want probability? You get a tiny 13-inch screen. You want a real power and massive display? You end up buying a 10-pound brick that needs 2 power adapters and sounds like a jet engine. We're all looking for that perfect middle ground, a machine that can legitimately replace a desktop PC for real work, but one you can still actually throw in a messenger bag without needing a chiropractor appointment afterward. This is the Nimo AI 370. It's packing a massive 17.3-inch screen and the brand new, insanely powerful AMD Ryzen AI 9 processor. On paper, it looks like a beast, but is it actually the do-it-all mobile workstation we've been waiting for? I've spent the last week with it as my daily driver, and yeah, we need to talk about this thing. First impressions, Matt. When you pull up a 17-inch laptop out of the box, you usually expect some flex. Maybe some cheap plastics to keep the weight down. Not here. The all-metal chassis feels incredibly rigid. It's cool to the touch and has the dense, premium feeling you expect from high-end ultrabox. Just scaled up. It's got a very clean, professional aesthetic. You could pull this out in a boardroom meeting or a coffee shop, and it doesn't look out of place. And that brings me to the build quality feature that stood out the most during my testing, the Hinge. Now, I want to address something. I know some of you will comment on if you get your hands on this. You might notice the hinge feels a bit stiff, maybe tighter than smaller laptops you've used. I actually asked Nimo about this, and it's international. You have to remember, this is the massive 17.3-inch panel. That's a lot of leverage. If they put a loose, easy-to-open hinge on this, the screen would wobble like crazy every time you typed or bumped on the table. This stiffer tuning means when you set your angle, it stays planted. It just adds to the feeling of overall stability. But okay, let's be real. You don't buy a 17-inch laptop for the hinge, you buy it for this. If you're coming from a 14 or even a 15-inch laptop, the sheer amount of screen real estate here is shocking. It is a glorious canvas for productivity. As someone who edits video and stares at spreadsheets and scripts all day, this changes my workflow. I can have 2 virtually full-size windows side by side. No excessive scaling, no squinting. It's also a 144Hz panel. Just navigating windows, scrolling through long documents. Everything feels incredibly fluid and snappy. Once you get used to high refresh rates for daily work, it's really hard to go back to 60 Hz. Lurking inside these chassis is the AMD Ryzen AI 9 HX370. This is one of the most exciting mobile chips we've seen in a long time. It's got 12 cores and a massive NPU for AI tasks. For creative work, it absolutely flees. I threw a 4K project at it with some color grading nodes, and scrubbing the timeline was brutally smooth. It handles sustained workloads really well without sounding like it's about to take off from the runway. But here is the wildest part. When you clock out for the day, this thing can actually game. The integrated Radeon 890M graphics are genuinely impressive. No, it's not replacing an RTX 4090 desktop card. But look at this. I'm playing modern AAA titles at 1080 pixels with super playable frame rates. For a machine this thing, without a massive dedicated GPU taking up space and power, that is incredible efficiency. It's legitimate all-rounder. If you're going to use these as workstation, the inputs matter. They've managed to fit a full-size keyboard here with a number pad, which I know is a deal-breaker feature for all my content and data entry friends out there. The key travel is solid. It's got a nice technical bump, not much at all. I've typed a few scripts on this already, and it's very comfortable for long sessions. And thank you, Nimo, for the port selection. We have fast USB-C, HDMI for hooking up to an office monitor. And yes, a full-size SD card slot. Creators rejoice! No more dongle life just to get footage of your camera. So, here's the verdict on the Nimo AI 370. If you are someone who feels claustrophobic on a small laptop screen, someone who needs that desktop-class workspace, but you still need to be mobile, this hits a ridiculously sweet spot. It balances that huge 17-inch visual impact with a premium, surprisingly portable build and enough power to handle serious creative work and even weekend gaming. Yeah, It's the closest thing I've seen to a true non-compromise mobile workstation in a long time. If you want to catch out the full specs and current pricing, I'll drop the link right down below the description. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments, is 17 inches too big for you or it's just right? I'll catch you in the next one.